And one of the biggest mistakes I see new investors make is wanting the perfect deal. It's all in the buy, in my opinion, when it comes to real estate investing. So if you don't buy right, it's going to be so hard to course correct after that action was taken. It's just one more little piece of data, one more tiny tool that I can add to my tool belt that's going to allow me to level up as a real estate investor.
The most successful real estate investors live and breathe it. Once you develop a certain skill set, the highest value skill set right now in real estate is being able to raise money, is being able to find the deals. If you're doing what you love, you're not making a mistake.
What is up, YouTube? In today's video, myself and Mike Rosehart sit down and talk about the biggest mistakes we see investors making every single day. Every single day, Mike and myself, we get DMs from all kinds of investors, and a lot of you are dealing with a lot of limiting beliefs, a lot of misinformation, and all kinds of other issues that are holding you back from crushing it as a real estate investor. So in today's video, we try and break down those misunderstandings and give you the right information.
What's up, everyone? Welcome to Matt McKeever's channel.
There we go, guys. What's going on, YouTube? Matt McKeever here with Mike Rosehart. And today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the most common problems and mistakes we see beginner investors make. But before we dive into those, I thought it'd be good to give a bit of perspective for anyone that's new to my channel. Maybe they're new to Mike Rosehart. Maybe you're questioning our credentials on giving advice to new investors. So let's take a step back first and just kind of chat about both of our experiences. So both of us, we both mentor a lot of young, motivated investors. So do you mind just kind of sharing your mentee house, what that looks like, and just even on a day-to-day, the number of investors that you're touching bases with or helping provide guidance or counsel to?
Yeah, I do a lot of mentorship and counsel, more than probably I should. I get, a dozen, on some days, a dozen DMs that I'm responding to on Instagram, dozens of comments. I go live every week on my YouTube channel for over an hour, where I just do live Q&A. And then in my house, I actually have a lower 4-bed, 3-bath walkout apartment where I have 4 guys who are my full-time mentees. And so that's my free mentorship program. They basically live with me and we buy real estate together. We JV on that stuff. They make a whole bunch of money through learning, through failure. And so I'm going to share some of the failures I've seen them make and mistakes they haven't even made that I've seen other people make in this video, and share some of those so that you don't have to make those same mistakes that we made. When I was 19, my first property, I made a lot of the mistakes I'm going to talk about here. So I'm not pointing fingers. If you've made this mistake, that's okay. I probably made it too.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a judgment-free zone. And just for a little bit of perspective for myself, I also have a mentee house. That's where we're shooting this video right now. I currently have 4 other people living with me in this house, and we recently just started a second house where we've got 2 more people living. We're looking to add 2 or 3 more candidates into that house. Wow. So we're constantly trying to, increase, grow the team, and level up the people we're spending time with. But in addition, like Mike, I get all the DMs, all the Facebook requests, all those different things. And one of the biggest mistakes I see new investors make is wanting the perfect deal. So I'd love to get your perspective on this, Mike, but I've started thinking about it. A lot of the DMs I get and a lot of the young investors I talk to, they've all watched my videos or your videos or other YouTubers that are documenting their great, amazing deals. And these people get hung up on wanting the absolute perfect deal. They want a home run, they want grand slam, they want to just crush that first deal. And so they're looking for a 100% guaranteed deal. I think the biggest problem with that is there's a lot of competition for layups. Everyone, of course, wants the best deals. Of course, everyone wants to make the biggest amount of profit on a deal. And what you do by only focusing on that caliber of investment is you're really reducing, first, the number of opportunities you may come across, but second, you're also increasing dramatically the competition you're competing against. So I'd love to hear just kind of your perspective on that, Mike. Is that something you notice people struggling with, is constantly trying to find the absolute perfect deal for their first deal?
Yeah, thank you for that layup. That's great. I'm running on the same theme. Like, Matt and I are like the Kobes and the Jordans, right? If you look at our stats and you're like, hey, I got to be at that stat in order to play basketball, you're never going to play. And if you don't play, you're never going to get good. And so it's running along that same analogy. When you first start playing ball or getting into real estate, you aren't going to be able to find that best deal. It took us years to hone our skills to be able to lock down a deal like that and even know what to do when a deal like that hits our lap. We can see that it's a deal and know how to maneuver it. You might not. You might see the same property and be like, as it is, it's not a deal. A lot of the things we look at, they aren't deals as they are. We turn them into deals.
Yes.
We have to, change the tenant profile or update the building or see an angle that someone else didn't see. And so the biggest mistake by far, I think, is exactly that, is sitting on your hands and not doing anything. Too many investors, I get so many DMs where there's like, someone will message me and be like, I make $80,000 a year in Toronto. I have $90,000 in savings. I'm not ready to buy a property yet. I'm just waiting until I can get that down payment on that $2 million Toronto house. But I really want to get into real estate. I'm looking at all these deals and I can't see anything that's anything like what you guys have. And that's the wrong mentality to have. My first deal wasn't that good. I'm sure your first deal, just an MLS deal. Another common mistake, I think, leading through like not taking action is using the wrong realtor or using the wrong data sets to make your decision. So there's like the analysis paralysis where you don't do anything. And then there's the people that when you're going to try to do something, you're working with the wrong people. So you go to the bank and you talk to your person who handles your mutual funds and you're like, can I get a mortgage? And they're like, no, you can't get a mortgage in Toronto. And he's like, oh, I can't get a mortgage. I'll have to wait until I can make $150,000 a year so I can get a mortgage. Like, I'm not going to look at Windsor or London or Sarnia or any of those other markets. I know I can't get a property in downtown Toronto, therefore I can't get a property anywhere. And that's like, that whole line of thinking is full of fallacies.
Yeah, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make, exactly like Mike was talking about, is using the wrong realtor. And they're using these realtors that must watch only HGTV, and the problem is they show you 3 houses and then they're like, which one would you like to buy? And it's like, this isn't, income property, this isn't homes on homes, like this is real life. I'm gonna go look at a lot more than just 3 properties before I make a decision, especially as a beginner investor. And another major problem with having the wrong realtor is the realtor's just showing you what's available on the market and assuming that that's the totality of deals available. So they don't actively network, so they don't have pocket listings, they don't have private connections, and they're not even aware of what really goes on in the real estate market. They're just aware of what they see being posted on their local board. And again, so many investors handicap themselves by using their aunt or their mom or their uncle or their cousin as their real estate agent because that person's promised to kick them back 0.25 or 0.5% on the commission of the deal. And what you're doing is you're literally getting a terrible deal to save $500, $1,000, $5,000, but you're starting off with a terrible deal. It's all in the buy, in my opinion, when it comes to real estate investing. So if you don't buy right, it's going to be so hard to course correct after that action was taken.
And I agree 100%. We've made most of our money on the buy. The counterpoint to that is like, I keep hearing people come to me, and it's like a recurring theme as of late, is like, Mike, you talk about making money on the buy. I can't buy anything that I make money on the buy. And I'm like, you're looking at it the wrong way. Most of my deals, yes, I made the money on the buy because I bought the right thing, but it didn't look like a deal. It's a buy because I can convert the back bachelor unit to another apartment where everyone else who walked through saw a second living room. And I'm like, this is a whole unit here. And so it's perspective, it's understanding that I can spend $15,000 and make $100,000 in upside and making that spend and then getting that through. Some people are like, I don't know how to make a secondary dwelling unit. Therefore, like, I don't see the play, therefore I can't even learn. And so it's the biggest mistake, I think, is failure to recognize that you are not an expert. And like, even myself, I have so much more to learn. I'm always learning new strategies. Someone's like, I remember when Airbnb came out in London in like 2017-ish, it really started to kind of become a thing. And I was experimenting with it in 2017 with my tiny house. And I remember at that time, it wasn't, widely spread in London, but we didn't know how to navigate that. We didn't know how to furnish it. We didn't know how to provide good customer service. We didn't know that pull-out couches with beds added a lot of value. These little things that you have to learn. Strategies change over time. And when enough people figure out a strategy, it's no longer a strategy. Everyone wants a burr now. So like impossible to find. Like, it's a joke when like someone reaches out to me as a realtor and says like, oh, just get me a burr. And I'm like, what kind of qualification is that? How do I find you a property that's a burr? Like, what you're asking me for is what everyone is asking me for. Give me specifics. Say I want this property in this area at this price range with these qualities, and I can find you that, right? But you have to know what you're looking for, and often, almost always, a burr is requiring some level of effort. And so I think another one of the big mistakes, before I hand it back over to Matt, is lack of effort. A lot of people reach out and they're like, Mike, give me the golden keys to like unlock the lock to give me financial freedom. I don't want to do any work. but just give it to me. And I'm giving you no value. I just want you to give me.
Yes.
They don't even start with like hello. Sometimes it's just like,
yes.
Where am I getting a burr? Like, give it to me. And like just the tonality of a lot of these messages. I don't know if I want to use the word entitlement.
It is.
It's just in general, people are expecting, they want the world without putting in the work.
Cashflow Tribe.
Hey YouTube, have you checked out Cashflow Tribe yet? It doesn't matter whether you're an experienced, seasoned investor or brand new to the game. I can probably predict if you're currently not having the level of success you want as a real estate investor, it's due to one thing. That one thing is you're not making enough offers, plain and simple. You need to be making more offers as a real estate investor if you want to hit those big, audacious goals that you're setting for yourself. So here's the deal. Cashflow Tribe, that's the community that myself and Ben were making together. And so Ben's actually so busy trying to provide value to you guys that he had to take off there. But here's the deal. Cashflow Tribe is really a one-of-a-kind community focused on results. That's the difference between us and everyone else. We want to get you guys those results. I'm tired of seeing people commenting on my YouTube channel for 2-3 years now, but they're not making offers. What's holding you back? I'm going to guess that it's either a lack of confidence or a lack of competence. And we cover both of those things in Cashflow Tribe. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you guys a 7-day free trial offer. You can join Cashflow Tribe completely free, get it tested out. If you like it, great, stay and pay. If you don't, well, I hope you at least find one great idea that you can take away and use to start making more offers, gain more deals, and finally start making the money related to real estate investing that's probably why you're watching my YouTube channel. So let's do this, guys. Let's make 2020 your year.
Cashflow Tribe.
Right? But you have to know what you're looking for. And often, almost always, a burr is requiring some level of effort. And so I think another one of the big mistakes, before I hand it back over to Matt, is lack of effort. A lot of people reach out and they're like, Mike, give me the golden keys to like unlock the lock to give me financial freedom. I don't want to do any work, but just give it to me. And I'm giving you no value. I just want you to give me.
Yes.
They don't even start with like hello. Sometimes it's just like,
yes.
Where am I getting a burr? Like, give it to me. And like just the tonality of a lot of these messages. I don't know if I want to use the word entitlement.
It is.
It's just in general, people are expecting, they want the world without putting in the work. And that's a big flaw. You have to put in a lot of work in real estate. You will fail if you're not willing to work hard. I tell my mentees this too.
Yes.
There are deals we can get into. If you're not going to put in the 100 hours to make the numbers work, it will be a bad deal. But it could be a good deal if you play your cards right. And so I'm handing you something that's a good deal. And if you play it right, and I just showed you how to play the hand, if you can learn how to play this hand, you'll make a lot of money.
So yeah, there's a lot of good points there I want to hit on. The entitlement one's a big one for me. I get so many people that DM me that are like, I spent half an hour on the MLS and I can't find a single deal. This is BS, that doesn't work. You guys in London have bought all the good deals. It's impossible to make money in London anymore as an outside investor. All kinds of crazy ass limiting beliefs. And you know what happens every single time you say that? It becomes slightly truer in your reality. I think that we need to become very careful about the words we use because that has power over literally the world you exist in. My reality and Mike's reality is way different than those of you at home that are keyboard jockeys that only complain about how it's impossible to make money in real estate. Because in our reality, that's a complete fallacy. We know that that's fundamentally not true because we see people every single day, including ourselves, including our mentees, including the people we surround ourselves with, that are going out there and crushing it as real estate investors. But a lot of people, when they first get into real estate investing, they don't want to spend any time learning. They don't want to spend any money educating themselves. They don't want to invest any of their own money, and they want perfect deals. If that's not entitlement, I don't know what is. You guys literally aren't putting in any work. You're not putting in any effort to really learn and become a fundamental expert. And that's the thing. Mike and I have spent years at this point becoming experts in London, Ontario. We also surround ourselves with like-minded individuals that are actively out there taking action. We also are very focused on problem solving. So rather than when we bump into to, the next obstacle, the next problem, just throwing up our hands and being like, well, I knew that real estate didn't work. This is the smoking gun I needed to pat myself on the back and quit. No, we're constantly taking those opportunities that don't look like opportunities and we're shining them, we're polishing them until they actually turn into something. And that to me is one of the biggest problems that people struggle with as real estate investors when they're first beginning, is a lack of creativity. And the reason you're not creative is because you're not like, eat, sleep, and dreaming about real estate investing where we were. We were literally the guys that at our day jobs, probably on lunch break and any break that they'd give us, maybe sometimes when we were even on the clock, we're going through forums, right? We're going through Reddit posts, we're watching YouTube videos, we're consuming as much information as possible, but then we're also going out and talking to fellow investors. And every time I hear an investor talk about a deal they've done, it creates a spark in me, right? Like, it's just one more little piece of data, one more tiny tool that I can add to my tool belt that's going to allow me to level up as a real estate investor.
I think another one of the big mistakes too, on that same line of thought, like talking about data points and living and breathing real estate, the most successful real estate investors live and breathe it. They're laying in bed at night trying to think of a solution, how to tweak that cash flow on that 14 unit. They're trying to think about how they're going to get that next deal that's in the pipeline. The biggest, I think, well, it's one of the big ones anyway, is that people get into real estate investing because they want fire or they want freedom. And like, that's why we get into real estate investing in general, is probably because we want to make money doing it. Like, no one does it for free. But at the same time, people aren't expecting, I think, the level of stress or like the downsides of, we talked about in one of our old videos, the downsides of like entrepreneurship. That whole piece, I think people aren't preparing themselves for. And so we see people get into the wrong deal as their first property and then basically say, no, I can't do real estate because this deal failed. Or maybe they get into it and they do a great job, but they find that, hey, I was making $150,000 a year as a lawyer. I got into this deal. I made less per hour than I would have made just like focusing, side hustling, legal advice. And that's actually probably true. Like in a flat market where we didn't have the appreciation that we have today, where things aren't as hot, where it takes a long time to sell a property, in that type of balanced or even like a bit bearish market, you will find that your hourly isn't that good. If you make $150 an hour, real estate might not be, in the beginning, the first year or two, it won't be as good of a return on your time. And return on time won't be that great. But if you make $14 an hour at Home Depot, it's probably a good use of your time to learn real estate. So it depends where you're at in your journey too. And I think that's the biggest mistake. People see us as multimillionaires and all this kind of thing. They think that, hey, I'm going to become super rich doing that. But you might be able to niche down in a different set of skills, and maybe real estate isn't for you. And so that's a big mistake. People get into real estate thinking, Mike did it, Matt did it, so I can do it too and make just as much money as he did. But it took us years to get to this point. And if you don't want to spend 7 years grinding real estate, maybe you have a family, maybe you don't want to spend your evenings and weekends thinking about this. You want to be able to just shut off and detox. Real estate might not be for you. Or it might be better to find a JV partner who's active, who wants to run with things. It might be a mistake for your personality profile, for your life situation, to go ahead and get into a bird deal. Because that's going to ruin your life for the next 6 months. You're going to be there every day after work. You're going to be fighting with tenants. It might ruin your life for that 6 months. You might get a divorce over real estate. Like, it's possible, right? And I've been there. I've put my relationship over the last 11 years in huge stress through real estate investing. If you don't have the right partner, that's a big mistake too. You don't have the right partner to support you in this journey, and you get into real estate investing. I've had people reach out and say, hey, I got a divorce because these 3 properties I bought, they ruined my life. And it's like, I made 100 grand or 200 grand. I don't care. It ruined my life. And so real estate can ruin your life. So be careful. It can also make your life.
And so just building upon what Mike was talking about there, I think it's really important that we identify that not everyone has to do everything as a real estate investor. We should all be focusing on what our core strengths are, what the core things that excite us are, and double down on those niches. For myself and Mike, that was definitely being the active real estate investor. That was something that we're very passionate about. We're clearly very passionate about deal acquisition. So the hunt of the deal, right? Negotiating on the deal, getting the right terms for the right property at the right time. That's things that really fire us up as investors. Maybe that's not your cup of tea. Maybe you're better just talking to potential money lenders. And maybe you can just become the expert, money schmoozer, where you're just literally going out for coffee and drinks and you're building relationships with just other high net worth individuals, and you're going to use them as a pool of resources to build your real estate empire. And maybe you're going to find an active partner like myself or like Mike, and together you guys can do so much more rather than just being focused on your own little empire. Way too often I see people wanting a whole grape versus a piece of a watermelon, right? As real estate investors, it really is about using leverage. Like, it's all about using leverage, guys. And a lot of us assume that that means just leveraging money, but there's a lot more to leverage than just money. We can be leveraging other people's time, other people's energy, other people's skill sets, other people's knowledge, all kinds of other ways to use leverage to help us grow bigger and faster than we ever would by ourselves.
I did a specific video on that like a year ago about leveraging. There was like 6 or 8 facets of things you can leverage, and part of it's like social media and things like that. You could pick 1 or 2 of those things and niche down on that. And that might mean you don't find any deals. That might mean you don't do any property management or any construction. I, for instance, personally hate construction. I hate property management. If you want me to manage your property, if you want me to do construction for you, there's no amount of money you can pay me. Like, it doesn't matter. I won't do it. And it just so happens that I think as real estate investors, once you develop a certain skill set, the highest value skill set right now in real estate is being able to raise money, is being able to find the deals. I think those 2 things are the most high value. Everything else is like under $25 an hour work. You could replace most of those tasks. So find what you love, find what you enjoy. And I think if you're chasing your passion, like if you're loving hunting deals the way Matt and I love to hunt deals, it doesn't matter how well you perform. You can get a 20% ROI or 100%. If you're doing what you love, you're not making a mistake.
Yeah. 100% agree. I think that's a great way to wrap up this video. In fact, so if you guys enjoyed this video, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new to my channel. Make sure you check out Mike Rosehart on YouTube and Instagram, because you're also very active on Instagram. And otherwise, I'd love to hear in the comment section, guys, what's holding you back as a real estate investor? What are you struggling with? What's keeping you from making more offers? Because at the end of the day, in my opinion, it all comes down to making offers as a real estate investor. Maybe you're not the offer specialist, but someone on your team should be. What's holding you or your team back from making more offers to get more real estate, to grow the real estate empire that you're probably watching my YouTube channel to learn about? Let us know in that comment section. Appreciate you guys watching this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Thanks again to Mike Rosehart for taking the time to do this video with me. If you guys would like to see more Matt and Mike together, let us know in that comment section down below. Leave a comment. Tell us you want more Mike and Matt, and we'll make it happen. Otherwise, if you guys want to watch more Mike and Matt, check out this playlist right here or this playlist right here. Yeah, we've done a lot of videos together. I hope you guys enjoyed. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.